Do I have a motion on the minutes from the last meeting?
I make a motion.
I second.
All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed?
Yep, good.
That's all I got.
Hey, perfect. I can go out finish weed whacking.
You wanna hang around for a couple more minutes to see if somebody else joins, but I don't know if he would contribute, if he was just listening in to see what we do.
I don't know anything about it. Just oh, he must be a resident because Ray said he was hoping that Chris would be voted onto the committee.
Okay.
This was a couple of weeks ago. And so he didn't attend the last meeting, but he did respond to this one. He did accept the invite, and I'm not seeing any emails to the contrary.
I believe he's joined us for at least one meeting in the past.
Okay.
I also believe that he's Ray's neighbor.
Okay.
I don't know him personally or anything about him, but I'd have no problem if somebody else wanted to join the meeting. But maybe it'd be best if we waited and spoke with him and spoke with Ray at the same time before we made a motion or anything like that. Just my opinion.
That's good.
Yeah, same.
Perfect.
Got anything to
Elaine, did you attend that? Or participate in that webinar today?
Which one? I was in a lot today.
Oh, the one about data.
I was, yes.
Boy,
Yep.
it seems like there's a lot that we would have to do to gather the information.
So, okay, I did have a conversation with Ray the other day, and the committee has spoken about this before, about at least gathering speed testing data. I think at least Ray was talking about putting it on Facebook or something. Yeah, that was a lot of information for communities to handle. I also think that it would make sense to find out. So what I told Ray was it would make sense for he and I and whoever else wants to join to reach out to USDA because they can look at maps and see exactly where your RDOF areas are. And as to what level of service, here comes, it is Scott. It is Scott. It's not Chris, it is Scott. I was right the first time. Hi, Scott.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay, yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
I don't know if I got the best signal. I'm up in St. Stephen's, so I may get dropped off in the middle of this, but we'll see what happens.
Okay,
So-
well, Scott, you're in charge. We took a vote. Thank you.
Cool. That's easy then. We're all done. We all have high-speed internet now. It's right at our house. We're done.
So, Scott, is Ray's not involved with this meeting? So is it our understanding that you wanted to join this committee?
Yeah, so Ray's my neighbor across the street, and we were chatting, and I just asked him, I said, what else can I do to help? And he says, we're always looking for committee members. And I said, okay, I'm happy to join. I don't know what I can offer, but I'll offer whatever I can.
I don't know how the formality is, but I'd have no problem that you joining. And if somebody wanted to make a motion and second that, I'd be in favor of that.
I'll motion that we get Scott on board.
Sure, I'll second.
Okay.
Congrats, Scott. So just before you joined, we were talking about, I'm Elaine Abbott, and I'm Regional Broadband Coordinator with Sunrise County Economic Council, and I kind of help facilitate these meetings. And so John had asked me if I had attended a meeting today about gathering broadband data. So what I suggested to Ray was that when Ray returns, that it, at the very least, he and I set up, or any other committee members who want to attend, a meeting with the USDA, because USDA has grant funding, as does Maine Connectivity Authority. But USDA should be able to look at their maps, recognize your RDOF areas, and then what your speeds are recorded at. So you have a lot of DSL. And so let's rule out right away, one way or the other. Current grant funding is saying that they're looking to, so whether it's USDA or Maine Connectivity Authority, it's speeds of like 25 down and 3 up or less. That's generally DSL. So it would make sense to start with USDA. They can look at their maps and say, yep, you guys would qualify, or no, you would not for grant funding.
Yep.
So Ray was going to try not to think about that while he was on vacation, and but he will. So Ray will keep you guys posted on whatever he decides about that, but I'm certainly happy to, of course, join that meeting and ask questions. So if that makes sense. The other thing, Scott, is other Scott too, is that the National Digital Equity Center had met with this committee, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with NDEC, but they host free classes to all Maine residents on everything related from internet safety, how to use your device, all the way up to WordPress and Excel. They have more than 40 classes, and what they were hoping for was an on-site location, say, for example, the school. Because people can attend these classes remotely from home, or a community can say, hey, we're willing to have an on-site location where people can come in person and learn this stuff in person. So that was another thing Ray was hoping that maybe I think this committee would talk about. Ray didn't leave us an agenda, so.
Ray did mention to me that we would probably be doing the site surveys next week. He's going to get back to me on a specific day, but we were going to patrol the town to find out who's hooked up to Spectrum and who isn't. I know that Broadband Data, one of their requirements for gathering information on the on-site surveys, they actually expected the individuals to get the distance from the poles to the houses, which I found a little bit intrusive.
So for example, what they're talking about with that atypical builds, most people, John, you might be an atypical connection. Just like at my camp here in Alexander, I'm like 1,700 feet from the road.
Yeah.
So that's an atypical connection. And so what they were talking about was trying to identify those. So, John, I believe before that you have mentioned how much a certain ISP quoted you for bringing, I think it was you, for bringing, yep, okay. And I'm sorry?
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, okay. So it was identifying those kind of atypical builds. There are places I've meet with a lot of committees. Lubec, I heard from somebody that one ISP said 26,000 and we'll come down your road. Another one was 50 something thousand and we'll come down your road. So, that's what they're talking about, identifying those kind of extended, like even where I am now.
I mean, my thought was that they were trying to identify the drop from the pole to the residents. So that drop normally, I think they were concerned about a drop in bandwidth. And that was what their intent was on identifying the distance from, for a normal situation is no drop. But for somebody like 1,800 feet, there might be a little bit of drop in the bandwidth, but normally it's not noticeable.
Okay, so when they're referring to drop, that is the connection from the pole to your house.
Okay.
That's the drop. So there are lines going down. Think about at your house right now. If you look at the telephone pole or whatever outside of your house, there are wires coming, whether it's cable, your landline, if you still have one, whatever it is. That's the drop from the connection to your house to that pole.
Okay. All right.
That's
I
the
get you
drop.
now.
Yep,
Okay.
great. That's why I'm referring to how far away. Like my drop is like 1,700 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like Pioneer and DBU they got it down to a science where they just count how many poles, and they have it figured out in their mind how many poles will equate to 1,200 feet. So
Yeah, it is a 1,200-foot drop with that.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this on that.
So if you're outside the 1,200-foot drop with that particular ISP or organization outside of 1,200 feet, so I would have paid extra, for example, because I'm 1,700 feet. But that's the term, the drop.
okay, I got it.
Yep, that's a great question. Yeah.
Now, would you pay extra because they have to use different equipment? Or would you pay extra just because they have to get another spool out?
So yeah, because it's so long, it requires extra. So the ISPs that or the ISP that John is referring to, they're with it's fiber, and so therefore anything outside of 1,200 feet. A typical drop, if you depending on where you live, I'm at camp, but I live in Eastport, so my drop is 200 feet. So that's Tina, yours is you live in Eastport, it's probably 200 feet, if that.
Yeah.
So if that, yeah. So it kind of varies. So what they were talking about with atypical drops, in that's what people like me and people like you, John, who are trying to connect and but it's unaffordable because in the past or currently, ISPs are saying, yeah, 25,000 and we'll hook you up. That's the kind of stuff they were talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's all I got.
It is a lot of information, which is why I talked to Ray, I think it was yesterday. I talked to Ray about the idea of going for a planning grant, but before doing that, reaching out to, say, USDA, can you look at the maps and tell us whether or not we're eligible? Because if you're not eligible in this round of grant funding, then that's that.
Yeah.
So that makes the most sense to me. And as far as digital equity classes or digital skills classes, if someone wants me to connect them with their digital navigator at the National Digital Equity Center, I can do that, but they would need to talk to someone who would help facilitate the process of like, hey, let me introduce you to the Perry Elementary School principal, or hey, maybe we could hold these at the town office.
So did she ever get back to us? Was it Marcy? Was it Marcy, right?
Marcy? Yeah.
Didn't she think that Perry was in talks of having a location? The elementary school? On that call?
I think that's what she thought, but she's not the person who does that. And last I knew, there were not any classes in Perry.
Gotcha.
And you guys were interested, the committee was interested in holding those. So I can make that connection if someone wants to be the person to say, okay, yeah, hey, let's talk about this. And how do we get this set up? I can double check, but last I knew.
No, okay.
Hearing note takers, you can think about it and let me know.
We'll sleep on it.
No, they are amazing. And one of the things I will say for all the surveys that the state has done, SCEC has done, everything else, the number one thing that people all across Maine, and it's not just Maine, are concerned about is internet safety. Staying safe, keeping your information safe online. And the National Digital Equity Center does classes remotely. So maybe it might even be something to promote on your town Facebook page or something similar. The classes are free, regardless if you have no income or you make $10 billion a year. If you live in Maine, the classes are free. So, and you
Yeah,
can
it's a
take
great
them
service.
remotely. Yeah. You know, it's kind of scary in a way. My sister, she's an intelligent woman. She really is. And now I'm being recorded saying this, but she'll never see it. No, she was ordering something and I said, "Where is this company from?" And she goes, "I don't know." Go, no, 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 Lisa, no. Go to the contact us. Where are they from? And she was getting ready to order something from Hong Kong. That said, this is not a return address. And so what is she going to do if this sweater she orders doesn't fit? What is she going to, how is she going to return it? Who does she call? You know, so it's scary, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So anyway, um,
Yeah.
just as a, so if anybody's interested, I would just need someone to connect her to. Or we can torture Ray because Ray will be watching this video when he comes back.
Yeah, we can volunteer, Ray.
I was gonna say, I don't mind doing that. I just, yeah, whatever it takes is it to get a place, even, I know we're on the Perry committee, but anywhere around us where someone could go for these classes if they wanted to.
You know what might be kind of interesting actually is to talk to Barbara McPhail about
Oh, yeah.
about the crate uh be, because there's space and maybe it could be something like you know, people order snacks and whatever. It may be,
That's a really good idea,
it may
actually.
be, it's a nice space. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know, but the elementary school, they just need to have decent internet and space for people to join in. National Digital Equity Center also does things like they have a free or low cost device program. Um, yeah, they have digital navigators who will come out and help people. They have classes on signing up for the Affordable Connectivity Program. I don't even know if you guys know how many people or if you know what the ACP is. The Affordable Connectivity Program provides up to $30 off a month off your internet bill. It's a federal program, and those living on tribal lands up to $75 off a month. And I can actually look up, if you want me to, in just a moment, if you want, I can actually look up how many households are eligible in Perry and how few people have signed up.
Hmm.
And so they can also help people sign up for that. They have classes for that too. So just something to think about.
Yeah.
It's an awesome organization.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I've already turned some family members on to the ACP, and they've had success with that.
Excellent. Yep. And so many people are eligible. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I've got.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Bye, Ray. Good night, guys.
All right,
See you
thank you.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.